Hey guys, Joe here, the guy who actually coined the phrase, some mofos are always trying to ice skate uphill, and I'm here today to talk about what I thought was honestly a pretty good card, UFC 304. So, enough talk, let's get to the fights. Main event, Belal Muhammad, long road to get to a title fight. Finally gets against Leon Edwards, and he wins with a lot of stifling offense. Some good shots on the feet with the stand-up, a place that we thought he was going to get eaten. A lot of people thought he was going to get eaten up. Good left uppercuts, lead left uppercuts. It would kind of force some cover-ups from Leon. This, along with the wrestling that was very effective, was kind of freezing Leon on the feet. And he rode that to a unanimous decision win. He's not a finisher. It's not going to happen. But there was a moment where I thought he was going to finish him because he accidentally pile-drived Leon into the canvas. It was pretty gnarly. It was pretty awesome. But then you go, oh, he might actually be hurt. He admittingly wasn't rocked or injured from it. It's a scary slam. I literally could hear Dominic Cruz going, can't lift there, in my head as he did it. Fifth round, Leon did get like a pretty good last 30 seconds, big smashing on Belal Muhammad, busted him open. Might have been a minute, but I feel like 30 seconds to me. But then it was really funny. He actually went for to maintain control and get an arm triangle. I was like, what are you doing? You could have just kept smashing. You might have hurt him. Because it busted up Belal Muhammad pretty good. But, hey, whatever. Honestly, Leon was a very good champion. Belal Muhammad, very happy for him. I love these blue-collar, hard-working underdog guys getting the belt. He's super boring, but that doesn't equate to greatness. That said, watching this fight, I'm sure me and Luke Thomas would agree here, but me and my best friend were watching this fight. All we could think about was, as great as this fight was, that it was finally happening, as great as it was for Belal Muhammad to get the win, or if Leon had won, for Leon to, kick this guy back down, I kind of had a sense that this fight, as much as it needed to happen, and I was excited for it to happen, I was kind of like, okay, let's get this fight over with. Because right around the corner, potentially getting the next shot, is a guy I think would beat both those guys. Legitimately. I think Shavkat would beat both those dudes. I think he beats Belal Muhammad. I think he beats Leon Edwards. Because he can just he can just play to everyone's weakness and finish you. 100% finish rate on a guy like him. With that kind of skill set, that kind of talent. I think that's the dude. I personally was like, let's get this fight over. This fight needs to get over with so Shavkat can come in. So, that's my opinion. Maybe I'm crazy here. I know, I'm sure me and Luke Thomas agree. But the fight probably a lot of people are going to be talking about because it had a lot of ramifications with Tom Aspinall defended his interim title with a first round, a minute KO of Curtis Blades. Early on, Blades has the reach. It was kind of giving him some troubles. But then Aspinall kind of finds where his timing needs to be. He finds where his openings need to be. And he puts a jab, almost like a left straight, on the inside of Blades' jab that wobbles him and hurts him. And he misses with the overhand right it's like a straight right that he was going to bring over the top, like a cross counter. And he misses with it, but he gets the knockdown regardless. And swarms in, huge shots, KO. Tom Aspinall officially has more defenses of his title than Jon Jones does of the undisputed title. Hilarious. And I'm going to promise you right now, Jon Jones wants nothing to do with Tom Aspinall now. I'm not saying Jon Jones is afraid of him. I say that a lot. I'll be like, oh, so-and-so's afraid of him. Let me be clear on this because we had a friend of ours over. He never watched. He's watched some MMA. He's like a casual MMA fan, but he's like a hardcore boxing fan, and he wrestled in high school. So, he's a hardcore combat sports fan, just not MMA. So we got him over to watch the fights last night, and we all were kind of talking about this and discussing this. And whenever someone says, oh, he's afraid of that guy. Oh, he's afraid. Jon Jones is afraid of Tom Aspinall. Whenever I say it, or anyone that's intelligent about the sport, so Carl or Luke Thomas, I legitimately don't think it's mostly a joke, but They're not afraid of the person, because Jon Jones is a bad dude in the grand scheme of life, right? I don't think Jon is anywhere near the GOAT talks. I think I have Usman over Jon Jones in the GOAT talks, admittingly, right? Jon Jones, also steroid cheat, not in any GOAT talks for me, really, but he's a bad dude on the grand scheme of things. He's not afraid of Tom Aspinall, the person, because at that level, if you're a fighter, you're probably not afraid of anybody, you know? I mean, no one is like Tyson, where people were legitimately afraid of Tyson. You know what I mean? No one's really like that, right? Anymore in MMA. Lawler maybe had it, but he also fought crazy guys back that definitely weren't afraid of him. Jon Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall, the person. He's afraid of Tom Aspinall, the repercussions, because Tom Aspinall has a repercussions. There's like Tom Aspinall, if they fight, Tom Aspinall, let's be honest, most likely wins. And there goes Jon Jones' legacy. Jon Jones does not want to risk his perfect little GOAT scenario for himself by taking on a scary, dangerous guy that can absolutely finish him in the first round and lose his perfect little GOAT fantasy. He doesn't want that. He wants the easiest fight he can get with the biggest name possible. And he's got Stipe Miocic. They're still trying to make this fight. Makes no sense at all. Makes zero sense at all, honestly. Makes zero sense at all. Everyone knows it. Everyone agrees that this fight makes zero sense. Jon Jones is adamant about it. Stipe's adamant, which I understand. He's getting a title shot. And he thinks he's going to win. So I don't really hold anything against Stipe. Jon Jones, I hold something against you, and Dana held something against you. Because Dana did say Tom Aspinall should get to fight the next guy. The winner of that fight, Tom Aspinall should be it. But why not just now? Like, why are we waiting? This guy's ready to go. Why hold up this division for a guy that is incredibly unreliable for the company? I don't know. Oh my God. It's giving me a headache just thinking about it. God, Jon Jones is like such a bad guy for the sport. Let's get to the rest of the card, because I'm getting depressed. So Paddy Pimblett, this has depressed me too. I'm kidding. No, but Paddy Pimblett does get a slick triangle choke win over King Green. Put him out cold. Went for the arm. Didn't even really crank the arm, and it's like, he's not doing anything to defend it. He's out. Like, he went out. Because Bobby Green weirdly shot a takedown after a low kick. I don't know what he was thinking. He was nearly put in a guillotine, and Paddy, slickly enough, transitioned the guillotine to a triangle. And it was super tight. RoboCop hurts the height of Christian Leroy Duncan with some brawling and top control, and for a bloody win. I actually had a lot of fun. Arnold Allen, great job in a great fight, and pressuring Giga Chikadze for a unanimous decision win. I actually had a lot of fun with this fight. Daniel Wood put on a big showcase with some body kicks, low kicks, and great boxing against Daniel Pineda for a unanimous decision win. Bruna Brazil hurt the homecoming of Molly McCann by unanimous decision. Jake Hadley got a UD over Cowlin Loughran. I always forget how to that name always struggle. I always struggle with in like history. Muhammad Mokaev and Manel Cape, I'll talk about later, but they had the worst grudge match of all time, with Mokaev earning a unanimous decision and either PFL, 1FC, or Bellator contract with that one. Oben Elliott beat Preston Parson by unanimous decision. Modestas Bukauskas got an arm triangle choke win over Marcin Prachnio, as did Sam Patterson over Kiefer Crosby. Mick Parkin got a KO over Lukasz Brzeski. And finally, Shauna Bannon beat Alice Ardelean by split decision. Now let's talk about time zones. Okay? I have a decent understanding of how time zones work and sleep schedule controversies, because I live in the States. I live in Oklahoma. Been open about that. Carl lives in the UK. Me and Carl work together on the channel ever since he brought me on about 2 years ago. Me and Carl have been working together. We have the preview show together. Go check that out if you haven't. It's still okay. You can see how right we were. But, I understand how time zones work. And I am convinced Dana White does not understand what time zones are and doesn't understand how they work if he does understand what they are. Because he said he was disappointed in this card. Everyone has their own opinion on what exciting is. I had fun watching it. All the fights I watched live were overall pretty alright. Because I when I finally got around to watching him, I put on Nathaniel Wood and Pain. I woke up a little late, I'll be honest. And for this, he said he will never pay extra fight bonuses again, because they were $200,000 for one, and then the others were $100,000. He said he'll never do that again. And he was brought up with a very legit and clear critique, saying that people were afraid of this going into the fight, saying, hey, you're fighting in the UK, but you're not fighting in the UK time zone with a lot of UK fighters. You're fighting according to the normal time if you were in America. That's pretty stupid. Like, people were kind of going, hey, listen, that idea, it's just really stupid. And they're right, because the people were up at like 4 a.m. Think about that. You're waking up, you had to wake up early or stay up late, and you want to watch this fight, and then you hear, all right, the final fight of the night, it's a Belal Muhammad fight. Oh my God, how are you going to drive home? Like, you're going to be so sleepy. Oh my God, it's going to be horrible. But in fairness, I would imagine the local fighters had the disadvantage compared to the away team, in a sense. You know what I mean? Oh man, this also would make fights harder to be exciting, because, as we know, it takes two to tango. Like, very few fights are good because of one guy. Like, it takes two to make a good fight, right? Like, if Yuri Prohaska and Glover Teixeira, let's say we replace Glover Teixeira with a punching bag or something, or vice versa, Yuri's the punching bag, is that fight great anymore? No, it's not. Like, it's, oh God, it's, the idiocy. I'm gonna go bald. I'm gonna go bald from this sport, I promise. It's just the stupidest thing ever. But they bring this up to Dana, and Dana responds with, who cares, you goof? It's like 7 p.m. in Vegas. Who cares? That's not an excuse. Oh my God, that is the most ridiculous claim of all time. And I have heard Conor McGregor and John Jones talk about their GOAT status. That is number one. I've heard Paddy talk about how he's ready. He's a top tier guy. I've heard Ian Machado Gary say some ridiculous things. Sean Strickland says ridiculous things on a regular basis. That is the most ridiculous claim I've heard in MMA. Yeah. Like, I think if someone said, well, you know, hypothetically speaking, Belal Muhammad wins and he goes, yeah, you know, I think the Earth's flat also, I would still be like, well, Dana still said the stupidest thing on the night. Belal, you got number 2. You know, Dana, you got number 1 here. Because I don't know how you top that. It is such a stupid and ridiculous stance from the UFC president here. I think, here's my theory. I think he's legitimately upset because he booked a weak card top to bottom. Okay? Because I like the main card a lot, and I thought the Nathaniel Wood fight was awesome. But if you look at the prelims, it's not great. You know, like guys like Lerone Murphy were off of the card. I know he might have been injured though. He's just too big. Actually, he fought not that long ago. But like, there was a lot to be desired in terms of quality and name value in these prelims here. And instead of blaming the people responsible, he blames the fighters. This is some dark side Phil level of deflection. I hate it. Let's talk about something funny. Muhammad Mokaev is fired, kind of. He's just not being re-signed by the UFC. He was floating around the title shot. He might have got it over, but he didn't. And they gave it to Steve Erceg. He might have got it when they both fought on the card, but that fight was so bad that they were like, Steve Erceg better win big. And he did, and they gave him a title shot. He had a chance here. If he would have won here, I think there was no denying him for the title fight. No matter how much of a stinker it was, I think it would have been pretty hard to deny him. And then there was a lot of beef, because Mokaev talks a lot of crap. And he is incredibly cringy and seems like a legitimate douche. And now that we can confirm it, because he saw Manel Cape at the hotel, the fighter hotel. And he said, hey, do you want to take a picture? And when he got close, he sucker punched him and knocked him down and said, I'm not like Alex Bejeda. I'm not going to get bullied. biggest douche move I've heard in a long time. I've heard a lot of douche moves in this sport since I've been a fan. That's one of the biggest of all time. If not the biggest, because you're just cheap-shotting a guy while acting cool. It's the equivalent of, like, let's go touch gloves. Then I, like, low kick you in the balls. I don't know. It makes you think of, like, Nadia Kassem, putting the hand up and then going for, like, the side kick. It makes you think of that. Horrible fight. Also, this is the worst grudge match of all time. It's incredibly boring. And he is a guy, Muhammad Mokaev is known for being incredibly boring. Manel Cape potentially only lost because he broke his toe. He broke his toe in the second round and couldn't defend takedowns after that in the second and third round. Then he claims that matchmakers told him, don't shoot takedowns or we're not going to re-sign you because we don't like that. I'm not saying that didn't or didn't happen. I could believe it happened, but I can also believe he's just an idiot, you know. And it's really funny. Dana said a lot of stupid things at the post-fight press conference, of course, as I've talked about already. But he did have one really funny line here. When he's talking about the Mokaev situation, he goes, yeah, the PFL is going to get a pretty new unbeaten fighter. Pretty open and shut case what's happening there. And apparently, too, this dude was a big problem backstage for matchmakers and staff. Honestly, though, for me, in terms of meritocracy, it's a big loss. Big loss, because he is a very good fighter. Boring, but good. But for that sucker punch stunt, good riddance. Good riddance. Get him out of here. Paddy was xenophobic to him once, if I remember correctly. And I don't forget that. But regardless, though, get Mokaev out of here, dude. Wow. Whew. Just, what a douche. Like, Jesus, man. It kind of reminds me of, like, the Paul Daly situation, in a sense. Get him out. Like, you can't do that. You can't go assaulting guys before. They've given passes to too many guys for this crap in the past. They gave Connor a pass for throwing a bus. Or, not throwing a bus. He ain't that strong. Throwing a dolly at a bus. They gave Hamzat passes for picking fights with, like, Costa, Kevin Holland. And then here comes this dummy trying it and thinks he's going to get a pass. No, you're just an idiot. They should have given passes to the other guys, too. That's it for me. I've ranted for a long time. I'm going to be honest. There was a lot to rant about. Funny enough, because I actually came from this card feeling pretty positive. So, funny I say that, right? Funny how things turn out, I suppose. But yes, of course, once again, thank you to everybody. Thanks to all the patrons as well. We did post, or we, when joining the Patreon, you get a retro review request as a bonus. You get exclusive content too. You get early content, and you get content YouTube didn't like. And it's, Carl told me to say it's not feet pics. They're not safe. They're safe for work. YouTube just didn't like them, but they're not feet pics. Yeah, that's what it says here on my my note from Carl with a legal notice underneath. I think I got to read that. I got to have a lawyer read that or something. Anyways, we did have a new retro review come out this week, and it's pretty funny how well it's doing compared to the Pride one, which is pretty funny to me and Carl. Also sad, but hey, views is views, and we actually really like the support you guys always give the retro review series. It's always fun to do, so definitely check out this new one as I talk about Anderson Silva versus Michael Bisping. Honestly, a great fight and a terrible card. And as I said earlier, me and Carl did have a preview show last week we shot for UFC 304, so if you want, you can go back and watch it. Watch us clown around and joke around and see how right we were. I thought I was pretty accurate for the most part of this card. Not really. It was alright. I did alright. Next week, of course, I will be recapping Corey Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. And, of course, once again, always, thank you so much to all the fans and followers we got here. I'm Joe with the IAC. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great one.